faculty, and most importantly, our bright and eager students of Integrated BA LLB Honours and Integrated BBA LLB Honours. I am Kriti Sharma, and it is my deep honour and privilege to welcome you all to the Human Rights Day celebration on the topic of role of youth in advancing human rights and equality at Geeta Rattan International Business School, affiliated with Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University. On behalf of the institution, I extend a warm welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Prabodh Singh Sir, founder of Human Rights Protection Group and MFP Federation, and our esteemed director, Sir, Professor Dr. Vikas Nath Sir. This year's Human Rights Day theme focuses on promoting equality, dignity, and justice for all. As we gather here, it's crucial to reflect on the role each of us can play in upholding the principles of human rights. Before we begin into today's program, I'd like to introduce you to Geeta Rattan International Business School. Here at GIBS, we are committed to nurturing talent and fostering an environment of excellence in education. Our mission is to equip you with the knowledge and skills that will not only prepare you for a successful career in law, but also empower you to make a meaningful impact in the world. It is affiliated with Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Delhi, and approved by All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE, Ministry of HRD, Government of India for the technical courses, and the Bar Council of India, BCI, for law courses. The institute conducts various courses, namely MBA, BBA, and MBA Integrated, BBA General, both first and second year, BBA LLB Integrated, BA Assessment and Accreditation Council in its third cycle, as one of the national capital's leading business schools. GIBS brings together people, cultures, and ideas from around the corner to change lives and to transform organizations. Moving ahead, it is both an honor and a privilege to introduce our esteemed guest for today, Mr. Prabodh Singh Sir. Sir is a visionary human rights activist and the driving force behind the Human Rights Protection Group and MFP Federation, a community welfare organization and pressure group validated by the Government of India, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Niti Aayog, and the NASSCOM Foundation. Through this organization, he has championed numerous cases of injustice, playing pivotal roles in landmark cases such as the Jessica Lal case, the Ayushi murder case, the Nirbhaya case, and many others, including the ongoing City Center case. Sir's impactful work extends globally. He represented India at the United Nations headquarters in New York during the 13th Annual Human Rights Day Summit in 2016. He has also been included in a case study by Florida University, USA, highlighting his efforts in media influence, the rule of law, and civic action in India. A prodigy on video, his journey is a testament to the fact that with unshakable determination and unwavering faith, change is not just possible, it is inevitable. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Prabodh Singh Sir and individuals who guide the board he lives by. With great responsibility comes great power. To welcome our esteemed guest, I invite Professor Dr. Vikas Nath Sir, our respected director, to present a green welcome to Sir.
I request Prabodh Singh Sir to come ahead and grace the audience, please.
Good morning, everyone. The management of GIBS and Prachi and Director Sir. Thank you for inviting me, not because you invited me to your event, but because it's the Human Rights Day. Yeah. So thank you for inviting me because it's the Human Rights Day and there can be no better day for me to talk to you, law students, because you have no idea what role you're playing in the Indian society. Are you all first year students?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to go to the second year and third year and then get your degree, or do you want to spend some more time in first year? So what do you want to do after you get your degree? You want to be a lawyer, an advocate? You want to be in corporate law? What do you want to do? Anybody? Anyone? Okay.
So judiciary.
Judiciary, excellent. Is that why you got admitted here, because it's right next to the court?
No, sir.
Okay.
That's one advantage.
That's one advantage. Okay. Alright, what's your name?
So Harshita Agarwal.
Thank you, Arshita. Thank you. I really wish you get into judiciary, and that you also aid in its reform. Thank you. So, I want to ask you a question. Were you all born in India?
Yes, sir.
You're all born in India?
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody who was not born in India in this room? Anyone who was not born in India? Nobody, right? So why I'm asking this is, when you are born in a country, whatever country you are born in, from the second you are born, you are indebted to that country. You are indebted to your motherland. Because you were not born in some other country, right? You were born in India, and it is because of India that you are sitting here, that you are pursuing this law degree. And that India got you to this point. But remember, what got you here won't get you there. You know what I'm saying? What got you here will not get you there. So your motherland can nurture you, can give you opportunities, can toughen you, can throw challenges at you. But beyond a certain point, it is you who has to take that journey forward and then start paying back to your motherland. So how do you start paying back to your motherland? Tell me 5 things you can do in India to pay back India. Now don't tell me you pay income tax, you are paying back India. So 5 professions, activities, anything you can think of that you can do to pay back your country. And I will tell you why I am talking about country. I am talking about country because we are talking about human rights on Human Rights Day. And for so many decades, whenever we talk about human rights, we only talk bad about our country. We talk ill about our country. So much so that now when somebody says human rights, people start assuming, oh, it's going to be a country bashing. They are going to say something bad about India. Am I right or wrong?
That's the way things are being perceived.
That is the way things are being perceived. Absolutely, sir. So, it's very important to first understand why and what India is to you, and then what human rights are, and then how human rights are linked to India, and why there is a consistent effort to portray that India is all about human rights abuses. India is not about human rights abuses. There are human rights abuses throughout the world, all over the world in every country. Okay? So it's very important that when we talk about human rights, we make it very clear that it is not that we are in a country which is full of human rights abuses and nothing else. Do you think we don't have potent systems in place to tackle human rights abuses? Do we or we don't? We don't have the constitution or we have the constitution? Does the constitution guarantee you every right?
Yes, sir.
So as a lawyer, what is your duty? Are you supposed to be loyal to the constitution?
Yes, sir.
Right? So what does the constitution expect from you as lawyers? To uphold its spirit, to uphold its dignity. When Dr. Ambedkar wrote the constitution, what do you think he was thinking? He was trying to foresee every challenge that the nation might come across, that you as citizens might come across, that, including, those who are in power and those who are not in power and those who are trying to get to power, how they will use the constitution. So Dr. Ambedkar probably was trying to foresee everything at that time, so that when you guys grow up, you get to a law school, you start your degree, and when you read that constitution, it teaches you what nobody will teach you. So whenever you are in doubt, you can refer to the constitution. Okay? So tell me something. What is the most nationalist or patriotic thing you heard from a politician about our country?
That we protect the constitution.
Right. But is there a slogan, is there a nara, is there something that you hear politicians say and people repeat after them?
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, very good. Yes. Satyamev Jayate and Bharat Mata. Bharat Mata ki. Are you sure? So, Bharat Mata ki Jai is right. Bharat Mata ki Jai is right. But let's repeat after me. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Now tell me, why do we say Bharat Mata ki Jai? What does Bharat Mata ki Jai mean? Can someone tell me? You all said Jai, right? You all said Jai because you've been hearing it. But why do we say Jai?
Sir,
What
because we are worshipping our country.
We are worshipping our country. Okay?
So we see India as our mother figure and we wish to see it being prospered and grow into something big, more bigger and prosperous.
Shubha, thank you. What's your name?
Shubham.
Shubham, thank you, Shubham. Anybody else? Yeah, these are all right answers. There's no wrong answer. So, anybody else?
So whatever work India is doing, we maintain its dignity and we cherish this.
Thank you. What's your name?
Mudit.
Bodhit. So, let me give you a perspective to why we say Bharat Mata ki Jai. All over the world, whenever you win, there is a word for it. The word is victory. You know the word victory? But in India, we have two words for victory. What are those two words? Can anyone tell me? Jai and Vijay. Right? Both these words mean victory. But why do we say Bharat Mata ki Jai? Why do we not say Bharat Mata ki Vijay? Have you ever heard somebody say Bharat Mata ki Vijay? Never, right? Have you ever thought about it? Why? Now when I'm asking you, does it make you think about it? So why do we say Bharat Mata ki Jai? Why don't we say Bharat Mata ki Vijay? Both the words mean victory, right? We celebrate Vijay Divas. We celebrate Vijay Divas. Everybody knows about Vijay Divas. So why do we not say Bharat Mata ki Vijay? We say Bharat Mata ki Jai because there is a stark difference between these two words, Jai and Vijay. Vijay means victory, Jai means victory, but there is a difference in this victory. When you say Jai, there is a winner, but there is no loser. When you say Vijay, there is a winner and there is a loser. Vijay is the victory over flesh and Jai is the victory over soul. You see the difference?
Yes, sir.
When you say Jai, everybody wins. When you say Vijay, one party loses and one party wins. When you say Jai, you win over your own self. You win over your own inadequacies. You win over your weaknesses. You make yourself better. So that is why we say Bharat Mata ki Jai, because we are trying to say that we are going to improve our country. We are going to get better. But We are not trying to defeat someone. Now you know why we say Bharat Mata Ki Jai? So once again, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Thank you. Now that you understood why we say Bharat Mata Ki Jai and why it's important, let me talk about power. What is power? What is power for you?
Authority over someone.
Authority? Great. Authority over someone. What's your name? Diti. Thank you, Diti. Anybody else?
A tool used to serve others.
Okay. A tool used to serve others. Beautiful. Thank you, Shubham. So, power is something that can either be used or it can be misused. Either way, people will have to accept it. That is power in today's context. Now, you heard the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And in my introduction, they mentioned I often flip this. So I say with great responsibility comes great power. So if you are a responsible individual, if you are a responsible lawyer, a responsible advocate, power will get to you. It will reach you with responsibility. Or you can try every trick under the sun and get to that power. The difference is that if you try every trick under the sun to get to power, you will keep running behind power. And the day you stop running behind it, you lose the power or you won't get it. But if you act in a responsible manner in society, power will chase you. It will keep running behind you. I can give you various examples. Anybody heard of Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yes, sir.
What is his most famous speech? What is it called?
I hate speech. I hate speech. So I hate speech. I hate speech.
I had a dream. Yes, what's your name? Thank you. So, Martin Luther King Jr., he said, I have a dream. Anybody heard of that?
Yes.
Have you heard his speech, I have a dream? If you haven't, go back and listen to it. So why I am mentioning Martin Luther King Jr. and why I am saying I have a dream is what he said, is because the fact of the matter is that everyone has a dream. Each person in this room has a dream. Do I have a dream? Of course I have a dream. Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream? Is there anybody who doesn't have a dream? That's also good. We will not outlaw you. You can speak up if you don't have a dream. That's okay. But tell me if there's anybody in the room who doesn't have a dream. So talking about dreams, now let's get to what your dream is. Ma'am, can we begin with you please?
So my dream is to serve our country in a very possible way. Like I really want to serve justice to everyone.
Okay, what's your name?
So Archie, I want to gain confidence first to do it.
Thank you. That's very honest of you. Really, let's give a... Now let's get to you, ma'am. You. Okay. Yeah, what's your dream?
I want to be a corporate lawyer.
You want to be a corporate lawyer. Very good. Give her a round of applause. Now, thank you. What's your name? Vedika. Thank you, Vedika. Now, any guy has a dream here? Guys also have dreams? Any guy in the room who has a dream? Sure.
I want to do the judiciary and serve the country.
You want to do the judiciary?
I want to be a
and
judge.
serve the country. You want to be a judge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
I just want to make my father proud. It is his dream and I want to carry on his dream.
Wow, that's beautiful. What's your father's name?
he wants to see me on the pedestal of being a judge. He wants to see me as a judge.
Excellent. And what does your father do?
He's right now in the Rohini court. He's an advocate too.
He's an advocate,
Yes.
and he wants to see you as a judge. That's beautiful. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for him. Excellent, Shubham. So, you took your dream to the next level. You made your father's dream your dream. But think about it, your father's dream is also for you.
That's the reason I made it mine, sir.
His father is not saying, I am an advocate, I want to be the judge. That's my dream. His father is saying, I am an advocate, I want my son to be the judge. So that's beautiful. Thank you, Shubham. That's excellent. That's excellent. I'm going differently to achieve that dream.
Sir, I'm working on my vocal skills as of right now, but I will. For being a judge, sir, you have to, in my opinion, you have to do a lot of various things and excel at various fields. So as of now, I'm working on my vocal skills and communication skills.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's have a round of applause for Shubham, please. So, let me ask you, let's add some humor to it. Okay? I'm just clarifying it's humor so that tomorrow you don't take me to court. Okay, so why did the students bring a ladder to the law students, by the way, law students? Why did the law students bring a ladder to the class? Anybody? It's a joke. You don't have to apply logic. So the law students brought a ladder to the class because they thought the course is about high courts. So why I decided to recite this joke is because, when we're talking about human rights, and if you pursue a cause, if you fight for justice, life gets very tough. Life gets very difficult. Life gets very serious. So it's very important to keep adding some humor to your life. It will keep you going. Now, let me ask you, and really, I am really hopeful that I will get at least 8. Tell me 8 cases in India that got people out on the streets for justice. Nirbhaya case 1. Bengal case 2. Hathras 3. Did it get people out on the street?
Yes.
What why are you satisfied with the amount of effort put in by the people in that case? No, right? Okay. So we have 3 cases: Bengal, Hathras, and Nirbhaya. Any other case? Ram Mandir case, it brought people out on the streets. Okay, 4. 4 and though I personally feel that Ram Mandir case people were not out on the streets. It was very peacefully resolved and nobody came out on the streets. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
Are we happy about it? We want peace in the country? Good. So, any other case you can think of?
सर जो किसान वाला केस हुआ था
Kisan Andolan. It's not a case, but yes, it's a movement. Kisan Andolan. We'll talk about that.
सर LGBTQ community वाला
Yes, Pride. Pride March.
same sex marriage के बाद
Right, Pride March. We're talking about Pride March, right? So, okay. Now tell me about one global movement or case, maybe in US. I'll tell you one. And I know why the room is silent when I spoke about United States. You know why the room is silent? Because there is a perception consistently created, reinforced, that in Western countries there are no human rights abusers. That's a wrong perception. Yes, I see a hand up there.
The abortion case.
abortion
Everyone was
case.
outside
Yes, what's your
protesting
name?
about the Tanvi.
Tanvi. Thank you, Tanvi. Tanvi is right. There is this abortion case, and because we're talking about the West, that case also has to do with religion and the law. Am I right? Because the religion interfered with what the religion thought was the right thing to do as per law. And that is why the abortion movement, people were out on the streets in the West. But one of the most popular movements of late in the West has been Black Lives Matter. Heard about it?
Yes.
I'm sure half of you have posted about it also on social media. But when I asked you about United States and a case that brought people out on the streets, you had no answer. Because we think, sitting in India, we think that every other country is very nice. There are no abuses there. All these abuses are for India only. People think like that. So let's talk about Black Lives Matter. Why do you think people came out on the street saying Black Lives Matter? What was the problem? What was the issue? Anybody? You know about Black Lives Matter, but what's the background to it? What's the story to it? Yes?
Sir, a policeman stepped on a man's neck causing his death.
And the man said,
I cannot breathe.
I can't breathe. The man said, I can't breathe. And the man died. The man died. Now, let me clarify before I delve further into it, that when I say Black Lives Matter, in the same breath, I want to say all lives matter. Asian lives matter. Hispanic lives matter. White lives matter. Black lives matter. Tribal lives matter. All lives matter. But, because we're talking about Black Lives Matter, there were grave human rights abuses against the black community in the West. You guys were not even born at that time. Probably I was also not born at that time. So there were grave human rights abuses. They were used as human slaves. In the West, the black community were used as human slaves. Can you believe that? These guys lecture us on human rights. Isn't that the most ironic thing? Have you heard of anybody using human slaves in India? Have you ever heard of a community being used as slaves in India? Human slaves? It happened in the West. It happened in the West, and they lecture us about human rights. So why I am giving you this perspective is because it is very important to know that India is a great country and it has immense opportunities for all of you to make a difference. Our constitution is great. It has the scope for you to step in and contribute towards the country. We have the right structure in place, we have the right ethos, and we have the right legacy. I gave you this example about men being used as slaves. It's because, can you imagine if I tell you, you can buy the person sitting next to you and the person will have to work for you for free for the next 30 years? Can you fathom that? Do you think that's acceptable? But it happened in the West. It happened openly. Alright, so we spoke about Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Now let's talk about gurus. Okay, so has anybody heard about Guru Gobind Singh?
Yes, sir.
Anybody who's not heard about Guru Gobind Singh? So who is Guru Gobind Singh?
10th Guru of 6.
10th Guru of 6. I would just say he's the 10th Guru in that line. Whether he was the Guru of 6 or of anybody who believed in him. Do you think non-6 don't believe in Guru Gobind Singh?
I do.
People do, right? So Guru Gobind Singh was in a way a revolutionary in himself. And I'll tell you how. One of his most famous quotes or shabad or whatever dignified term you can use for it is Deha Shiva Bad Mohe hai Shubh Karman Te Kabhu Na Karo Na Daro Aso Jab Jai Karo Nishtay Kar Apni Jeet Karo Na Daro Aso. Now imagine so many years back when the Guru is saying Nishtay Kar Apni Jeet Karo, what do you think the Guru means? What is he referring to? This comes back to Bharat Mata Ki Jai. I am joining it to Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So when the Guru says Nishtay Kar Apni Jeet Karo, the Guru is not saying go and defeat someone. Because if you take it in that context, then in today's world, in 2024, you will say Guru Gobind Singh said Nishtay Kar Apni Jeet Karo. I have got to defeat somebody to be a good follower of the Guru. But really that Jeet the Guru was referring to was again Jai. I told you we say Bharat Mata Ki Jai. It's the Jeet over your own self, your own weaknesses. You have to make yourself better. Now, talking about law. First year students, thank you. So, criminal and family lawyer, that, I mean, I like the way you think. So, which one do you think generations will remember? And what about the family lawyer? Only the family will remember. He broke our family. Okay. So, thank you. Thank you. You know, that was a clever thought. So, why I'm asking you two types of lawyers is because I think there are two types of lawyers. Lawyer number one, who knows the law in and out, and is very good with it. They get famous, they get popular, people talk about them, right or wrong. So, lawyer type number one, a lawyer who's excellent with the law, knows the law in and out. People will eventually get to know about that lawyer, right? Lawyer type number two, a lawyer who fights for justice, who fights for people, who fights for a cause. They are both lawyers. One is excellent with the law, knows the law in and out, and the other is driven by a cause. He may know the law in and out, he may not know the law in and out. He may not be excellent with the law, he may just be average, but he may have an excellent drive, to pursue a cause. So can you tell me any one lawyer who you think has fought for justice in India? You are law students. Now tell me any one lawyer who you think is a very good lawyer, knows the law in and out. Give me a name. Give me a name. Ram Jethmalani. Excellent. Right answer. But now give me a name of a lawyer who you think has fought for justice, has devoted his life for others. Mahatma Gandhi. Now we are talking about pre-independent India. Let's talk about independent India. What's your name? Who said Mahatma Gandhi? Right. Thank you. Thank you. So, in independent India and modern India, ever since you were born, give me a name of a lawyer who fought for justice. Nobody? Make it up here. किसी को credit ही दे दो ऐसे ही. You should at least name your father. Ambedkar. Pre-independent India. Independent India. See, this is the reason I brought this up. Because you as law students need to understand that there is a great opportunity to make a mark. There is very little competition. If you want to live a great life, when I say a great life, I am referring to the greatness of thought, the greatness of action, the greatness of your intent, there is very little competition. Very little competition. So if you decide that I am going to pursue this cause, and this cause, I'm going to devote my life to it, I am telling you, you are going to get into history books. Because there is very little competition. Youth these days complains a lot about competition, right or wrong? There is a lot of competition. I've heard youth say, you know what, yeah, I'm 19, my age, most of the country is this age. What a bad time to be born in this country, right? That's not how you should be thinking. As law students who are going to be lawyers in future, and I'll talk about future and youth. So let's first talk about future and youth. Have you heard of this? People saying, youth, you are the future?
Yes, sir.
How many times?
Numerous.
Numerous times. Youth is the future of the country. You know, this is the biggest problem of the country. That we are telling the youth that you are the future. This is the biggest lie. I am going on record to say that youth is not the future of the country. If anybody tells you that you are youth and you are the future of the country, tell them no, that's a lie. You know why? Can anybody tell me why? Nobody? I'll tell you. Because before this moment even I didn't know, when I was coming to your college and I was on the way, and you know, I thought, okay, they want me to talk about youth and human rights. And then this thought struck me. It was just today. So youth is not the future of the country. Why? Because youth is the present. It's the present. This is your time. Time is now. It's now. Whatever you do now will shape the future. The future are the kids. When they get to their youth, that's future. But you are already in your prime time. You're already there. So it is now. Don't try to become a youth icon when you turn 50. So now, whenever in any classroom or your parents or anywhere else you hear somebody say youth is the future, just correct them. Say no, youth is the present. It's now or never. You agree or disagree? Anybody thought about this before? No, right? Because people are saying youth is the future, we are the future. We decide in the future what we want to do. It is the present. It is now. If you have to shortlist a goal, it is now. If you have to work on a goal, it is now. If you have to carve out your life for yourself, it is now. It is not in future. Future is for the kids. The 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and their future is whatever you do now, in the present. Okay? So, now tell me, is youth the future? No? So youth is the present? So, if youth is the present, what can you do as law students? I am not asking something out of syllabus. I'll give you a hint. My question is directly relevant to the agenda of today's event. Yes.
Sir, we can aware people about the rights and the laws.
Yes, thank you.
Secure a better future for the upcoming generation.
Thank you, Shubham. Thank you. So yes, and when we talk about that, does the legal aid come into the picture?
Definitely.
Are we going to do anything about the legal aid today? Is there something planned for legal aid today?
Yes, there's a badging ceremony.
There is a badging ceremony. This is why I am talking about it, because you have a badging ceremony of legal aid today. Now, as law students, how do you think you can contribute to what difference can you make? Anybody? Yeah.
by offering free service to the poor,
Right. So how will you do that?
public service.
Public service, but as students, you know, the badging ceremony of your legal aid, what will be your activity?
Spread awareness as much as possible.
Guide people. Guide people. Give them the right guidance. Has anyone ever been to a government hospital?
Yes.
All of you? Maybe with someone else, maybe for your own self, you know? Have you been to a private hospital? What is the difference? Availability, one, okay. What?
Facilities.
Sorry?
Facilities. Because
Facilities.
in private there are rich people mostly going there, and government and mostly there are poor people. So they don't have money, so they have to suffer a lot. So
The difference in money you have to spend.
basically
Right? So similarly, it's with how people approach the advocates also. There are advocates who charge a lot of money. There are some who are doing service, who may not charge, may fight your case pro bono. But there's a difference when you talk about hospitals now. The government hospital doctor will be way better in his experience. You know why? Why? He gets so many patients. His exposure is so much more than the one sitting in a private hospital, right or wrong? So does that give you a hint of how, in a very short period of time, as a lawyer, you can become a seasoned advocate?
Get the exposure.
The more number of cases you will expose yourself to, the better you will get. So each pro bono case that you fight will not be just service. You have to think that the other person is doing the service to you. Because with each case you will gain that exposure, you will gain that experience, and you will make a name for yourself. You know, when you start a company, a business, a startup, everybody is talking about startups these days, right? So when somebody starts a startup, a company, a profit-making company, so they have a product, they have a service, they keep a brand, everything is set. Then what do they wait for? They wait for customers, right or wrong? They wait for that first order, the second order, the 10th order, 1000th order, whatever. But if you're a lawyer, if you're an advocate, and you start fighting cases pro bono for those who cannot afford it, and you gain that experience, do you think after that you'll get people who want to hire you for your services? Yes or no? Okay. So, now, because you are in first year, I'm not going to complicate it, but let me ask you another question. It's a joke. Why did the advocate bring a mirror to the courtroom? Why did the advocate bring a mirror to the courtroom? Any funny answer you can think of? Excellent, because he knew that justice is about reflection. You got to reflect. Okay? I see this gentleman here is listening very carefully but is very quiet. So what's your name? Pranav. Pranav, what do you want to do in life?
I want to become an advocate.
Advocate, like, but what's your interest? What kind of cases do you want to do?
Criminal cases.
Criminal, that is why he was very silently looking at me. You're taking criminology too seriously. Okay, great. That's excellent. So, anybody has any questions about anything? Feel free. No one has any questions? No? Yeah?
So it is a bit broad question. Sir, a few months ago, there was a case in Pune where a 17-year-old boy who was the son of a billionaire killed two people driving a car under it.
Okay.
but he was given no punishment because his father had connections with influential people and with politicians. So in a similar way, in the Hathras case, the people that were acquitted, that were criminals, were garlanded in a public rally. So if we compare this to other countries like US or in many Western countries, coastal countries like even South Korea, where even the Prime Minister can get imprisoned because of corruption, how can India aim to achieve a type of equality where even influential or powerful people can get criminally charged?
Thank you. I forgot your name. What's your name?
Arif.
Arif. Arif, excellent question. Let's give him a round of applause. This is an excellent question because it's very relevant to our society. It's very relevant to the world we are living in. But Arif, you are right and you are wrong at the same time. I'll tell you how. I love the question. It's right. But some part of it is wrong. The part that is wrong is the perception or the, you assume that influential people do not get booked or punished in India. That is wrong. Can you give me an example of an influential person who got punished?
Lalu.
Sitting chief ministers have been behind bars. You are in Delhi. Is that right or wrong? So, Arif, did you think about it? In Delhi, the chief minister was functioning from inside the jail. Alag nahi tha. If you go by what you are saying, somebody sitting in the West in USA in an event today on Human Rights Day will quote this example that in India a chief minister can be behind bars. Why can it not happen in our country? Yes, yes.
So the example you gave us, again, like Arif said, it could be a strategy. Influential people were behind the reason that Kejriwal was behind the bars. What if a farmer goes against a big person? What about that?
So I'm going to address the second part. I'm not negating what you're saying. I just wanted to give this perspective. Now I can give you more. Om Prakash Chautala. Have you heard that name? So many times he was Chief Minister of Haryana. Was he jailed? Yes. Lalu Prasad Yadav jailed? Right? Kejriwal jailed. There was a strategy behind it. I leave it for the strategists to know the strategy. But I'm just talking about the matter of fact. Okay, I'm not getting into the merits or demerits of the case. Right? So, matter of fact, jail. Merits or demerits, you guys are law students, you decide. So, and plus it's sub judice, right? So, now, cases where the influential get away with it, like the Pune case, this is where we as citizens, as society have to play a role. Okay? So, I'll tell you my personal life story in very, very, very brief. So, in 2006, at that time, I was 20 years old and I was in college and I was pursuing my hobby of music. I was a musician at that time and I heard that there was a case called Jessica Lal case and the accused were acquitted. The murder happened in 1999 and they were acquitted. And what hurt me was the accused were from my hometown, Chandigarh. And I said, how is this happening? So I got my friends together and I was very popular at that time for my music. So I got my friends together and we started protesting and the protest grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. We got t-shirts printed that we demand reinvestigation and all that and the rest is history. And then later on, there were so many other cases which we read about on our website that we got involved in. So, it is all about what you do about cases that you hear. Now, you told me about Pune case. Did you do anything personally about it? No. Right? So, nobody did anything about it, and so nothing happened.
But sir, main responsibility of government की है ना फिर courts की जो आप
Very right.
punishment दे.
Very right. As youth, which is not the future of the country but the present, you cannot say responsibility government की है. You are doing what we should never be doing, not because we are blaming the government, no, but because we are trying to pin the blame on someone else, rather than take accountability and see what we can do ourselves about it. Right? When you talk about human rights, you know, I'll give you a phrase today. With great rights come great rights. My organization was one of the front runners during that case. But I tell you something which I've never spoken about in public before, about this case. So when the protests were happening, how old were you guys? That was 12 years back, right? How old were you guys?
6 or 7.
6 or 7? But you know whatever you heard from other people, or you read about it. At that time you didn't care. As 6-year-old know about it? No. Right? So when the protests were happening for the right reasons, Madam Sheila Dixit, the then Chief Minister of Delhi, visited the protest site. I'm telling you because you will not read about it in the newspapers. Maybe somebody reported, somebody did not. So she visited the protest site. And now, let me give you this perspective because there are women in this room. The protest is for women's rights, is for a woman. Right? The people standing there are saying, we are protesting because we need better rights for women in the country. Now another woman visits the site and they assault her. Madam Sheila Dixit, the then Chief Minister of Delhi, was assaulted on the protest site. Can you believe that? Why? Who assaulted her? The people who assaulted her are in power right now. I was there. So, and by the way, because as an activist I felt it was my moral responsibility, you guys can file an RTI and check. On 31st December morning, 31st December 2012, I had a meeting with her at her residence, wherein I apologized for what other protesters did. Because that was not the right thing to do, and we called off the protests. And after that day, there were no protests. So those people who had an agenda, who went there with an agenda, they wanted to, get into politics and do all that, they did all that. So you got to, see there are two sides to everything. So I don't think it is justified that if you are protesting about women's rights, and then a woman comes there, and just because, she's from some other political party, you assault her, and then you say we are fighting for human rights, we are fighting for women's rights. So this is how the society functions. So you got to see everything, both the sides, you got to see both the sides. People will misguide you with their cause. There are so many NGOs, I'm running an NGO, I can tell you, so many NGOs who are doing disservice to humanity, who are doing disservice to our great nation. It's a matter of fact. They talk about environment, but they are here to spoil the environment. Yes.
Sir, how we can join an NGO and how we can help as a student there?
You can join various NGOs by getting in touch with them. Like if you're talking about us, you can get in touch with us. We have a website, humanrights.in, and you can send your profile, resume, your skill sets. Everybody has some skill sets, some qualities. So you've got to figure out what your PowerPoints are, what your skill sets are, and how you can use that for the organization. That is the best way you can join. And then pursue your degree along with it, and like that.
So, sir, as a student of first semester, can we join in the NGO?
Absolutely, absolutely. Why not? So there are people who join from time to time, first year, second year, final year, even those who are not pursuing law. So there are students who do that. Yeah. So you want me to further delve into it, or are you satisfied?
Sir, sir, I want to know, sir, what are the challenges you face while protesting for the human rights?
Very good question here. So, once I was picked up from a protest site by those I was protesting against. In a very filmy fashion, they blindfolded me, took me somewhere. When they opened my blindfold, I had a person with a whiskey glass sitting in front of me. I swear, and I was 20. I was 20 years old. And the person said, you know how we'll kill you? We'll make you pee on live wire. What that meant, it took me a couple of minutes to understand what he's saying. What he meant was that it will be a natural death. Nobody will even protest. We'll die out of current. Till that day, my NGO was not born. I was just protesting. There was no organization. There was no group. There was no branding. So I went back home. And the whole night I thought about it. It gave me a sleepless night. But I was foolish, being a 20-year-old. If that would have happened now, at this age, I would have backed off, honestly. But because I was 20, and the right side of wisdom had not struck me, thankfully, maybe. So I didn't sleep the whole night, and the next morning I came up with my organization. I decided to institutionalize it. I decided to hit them back with much more force. So much force that they spent more than a decade behind bars. But was as students as you, would I tell you to do the same thing? No. I risked a lot in that situation. I risked my life. I didn't think about my parents. I didn't think about my family. That's not the right thing to do, really. Really. But revolutionaries are like that. So if you are a revolutionary, at some point of life you will be foolish. If you are not foolish, it's okay not to be a revolutionary. It's good to be wise. This is how I like to put it. And other challenges there, there are so many, but I'd like to say, more or less, country has been kind, despite us being protesters initially. Nobody, at least the governments didn't harm us. So, they were fair, it was a fair play. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
So how do we ensure that the voices of smaller section like economically weaker section could only be heard but acted upon policy making in advocacy?
Very good. So, logical answer, people from the economically weaker section need representation at different levels. So their people need to represent their communities at different levels, in different institutions, for that to happen logically. But I'm not saying that if you are not from economically weaker section and you are in that position of power that you cannot make right decisions. You can. So these are two things we got to do. One, we got to give them some amount of fair representation, merit-based representation. And two, those who are already in a position of power need to, Niti Aayog, what we have. One of the duties is just this, to identify the pain points of the economically weaker sections. And so many steps the government has taken for the poor. So many. If you start researching about it, you'll be astonished. So, we have a long way to go. But I think we are in the right direction. Yeah.
So what role does technology play in advancing human rights advocacy?
Great question. So, like we have a website, I told you we have a website, people reach out to us through the website, they search on Google, they get our number, they call us, that's technology. They don't have to write a letter to us, they send us an email, that's technology. They, instead of writing an email, they send us WhatsApp messages. That is also technology, but not the right use of technology. Because some things need to be on paper, well documented. And WhatsApp is not a very formal way of communication. So that's technology. And then you have these apps these days. There are apps of the For cybercrime, there is an app, for contacting the police. So all these things, technology plays a great role in protecting human rights. Anybody else? Done? Okay, so last thought. You are the present, not the future. So it's time for action, no more reaction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring and thought-provoking words. Your insights have truly resonated with us. I'm sure they will ignite a sense of responsibility and action among the youth here today. And now, without further ado, I'm pleased to announce the selected students for the post of President and Vice President of Legal Aid Clinic for the academic session 2024-2025. Kirti Anand of Integrated BA LLB Semester 7 selected for the post of President, and Swati Rani of Integrated BA LLB 5B selected for the post of Vice President. I request respected Sir Professor Dr. Vikasnath Sir and our guest Mr. Prabodh Singh Sir to badge the newly appointed President and Vice President of Legal Aid Clinic. I also kindly request Dr. B.K. Yadav Sir and Dr. Sonia Rajoria Ma'am to please join us on stage. Your presence today adds immense value to this significant occasion. Thank you.
Women empowerment. Let's get it. Come here. Thank you. Face towards the camera.
While we are also here, sir, I would like you to present your token of gratitude to Prabodh Singh, sir. I would like to present the vote of thanks and my gratitude to Mr. Prabodh Singh and our esteemed director, sir, Dr. Professor Vikasnath, and our esteemed faculty, Dr. B.K. Yadav, sir, and Dr. Sonia Rajoria, ma'am, our IT support staff and Frames Photography Club for helping me make this event a success and smooth process. And to you, young, bright future of, present of our country, the youth, for being an engaging audience. Thank you so much. Please remain seated until the guest leaves. Thank you.